So, hello everyone, this is Let's Talk SAP, and today we are in the Talk with Experts series where we talk with the wonderful minds in SAP. And today we have been planned to talk about SAP SuccessFactor, and for that we had Faisal with us. So, hey Faisal, can you please introduce yourself first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to be at Let's Talk SAP Forum. So my introduction is that I have been working in SAP since 2001. That's quite a long time now, 20 plus years, 21 years now. So my focus has been on HR line of business. So I started with SAP. I would say lucky me that I started my work as SAP consultant. So it's I was fresh graduate, and I went to drop my CV to different companies. Among them was Siemens back in my country, Pakistan. So they were starting a project at that time, a public sector implementation of SAP. So they hired me. So I continued working there for maybe 4 years, and then I moved to Middle East to work for another company, which was Atos Origin Middle East. Later, it was acquired by HP Hewlett Packard. So there, I worked with three different projects, again on HR, and then moved from HP to one of the customers on a technical support role, which was Saudi Airlines. And then I stayed there for another 5 years on a technical support role. And that was in Jeddah. And then I moved to capital city of Saudi Arabia, and that was a little different role. It wasn't HCM; it was change management. So, in my past experience, I had worked. In addition to the consulting role, I also worked on some training roles as part of change management team. But then I got a full-time change management role, and I wanted to explore it. So I moved to Riyadh, the capital city. And there on that role, I stayed for next 4 years. So overall, I lived in Saudi Arabia 13 plus years, exploring HCM, different versions, and then finally moving to, while on change management role, my company also got SuccessFactors implemented, and I again started to think about HR once again. So at that time, while I was still on change management role, I started to explore SuccessFactors. Uh, so basically, I would say it was a change. Also, I upgraded my skills at that time. Started taking training and certifications. Uh, and when I moved from Saudi Arabia to Indonesia, where I'm living now, back in early 2019, then I started to think of SuccessFactors only. So it was like a complete transition from on-prem solution to cloud solutions, HR. And then I took the training roles, mainly to deliver academy trainings. And it's been 3 years now that I'm just working on SuccessFactors trainings. During this time, I also have supported some customers, like they are ad hoc assignments, small assignments. So someone approaches and they need help. So in that way, yeah, I'm helping also. But mainly, my focus is on training. Yeah, that's my brief introduction.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for that, and thanks for being with us. And we are like really honored to have you. I don't think there will be any person who have been going through your blogs and not find it wonderful, and who are searching for SAP SuccessFactor contents, and they would won't have just popped into your feeds and everything. So that's great to that you're sharing this much to the community, and that's really helpful for us. So that's great. That's great from my end. And I would just like to say, can you just brief something about success factor itself, that what it is for a
Sure,
very high
sure.
level? Yeah.
Sure, sure. So, if you look at the SAP solution portfolio, they have solutions for all of business lines, so all line of businesses and industry solutions. So one of the solutions is for HR line of business. The solution has different applications. One of solution portfolio is on-prem solutions, and the other are cloud solutions. So SuccessFactors is one of those offerings which offer HR to have cloud solutions. The model is software as a service. So all of the HR functions are supported by SuccessFactors, starting from HR administration to talent acquisition and talent development. So whatever you think of HR and whatever sub-function you talk about within HR, you'll find SuccessFactors has a solution for it, and it's quite it's like a choice for customers. If they want flexibility in terms of customization, then they go to on-prem solution, and if they have more budget, they go to on-prem solution. But if they are interested in more standard kind of processes which can be supported by an HRIS, then they have to go to SuccessFactors. So looking at the solution the solution portfolio, you'll find there are plenty of solutions named as Employee Central, which deals with day-to-day HR administration. Then we have performance and goals management that supports the goal setting and performance evaluation processes. Then we have recruiting. Both experiences of candidate and recruiter are supported. Then we have career development planning, for example, of an employee wants to move on in the organization, so they need to know their career path. So career development planning supports an employee's ambitions, like to move on in an organization. Then we have succession planning. From organization perspective, organizations are looking at if there are some key positions and someone leaves, so they have to look for another person to promote someone on that role. So succession management is yet another area, another module which supports such processes. So you look at any HR function, you'll find SuccessFactors have a solution for that. So that's overall, if you look at the solution portfolio.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. So I'll just proceed on with a few questions which I have got from various people, and they just wanted to get it from you, or some question that were pop in my mind when I started thinking of having a word with you. So I would go with that, and you can just answer them in your way.
Right.
So as you were working for like almost 2 decades now, since 2001, and working with companies like HP and then Siemens and Saudi Airline. So you must have seen the transition phase from where it started and where it is now. So can you put some light on that, how it was?
Yeah, sure. Yes, it has been a very long time, and it feels like yesterday when I started my SAP career.
Yeah.
And that was on R3 4.6C version. And now when I look at S4 HANA and other SAP solutions such as SuccessFactors, it always amazes me. The advancement of SAP has been always remarkable. Always keeping all of its solutions up to date and aligned with market needs. Within HR line of business, you can see a lot of practices have changed from recruiting to hiring and retiring. SAP solutions on-prem or in cloud not only fulfill the business process needs, but also support organizations with delivering best possible experience to its employees. Whatever it is, whatever experience it is. Okay. So from day-to-day HR administration to ongoing development needs. So as I have been part of many HR transformation journeys, many projects as a consultant, and also have worked on a full-time change management role. So I believe it's vital to have alignment between business process and the corresponding solution. and also the people who have to support both sides, the HR function and SAP technology, to deliver what we call human experience management.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, exactly. Like SAP is like every time going into R&D and all, and they're always improvising. So it's difficult to cope up as well. So that comes up with a new question. Like, what do you suggest to the new consultants who are just joining, who are just freshmen in this, and what should they do, and how should they should just go on with the learning process?
Right. My advice would be never compare yourself with others. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, and keep working on improving your skills. All of us have unique personalities and also the circumstances, and we can shine with our own abilities. So if your today is better than yesterday, you will definitely grow. Okay.
Nice.
So an approach I follow now, and which I wish I would have followed throughout my professional life, is to develop can-do attitude. There's sometimes people think that I cannot do. No, change it to I can do. So don't give up easily. Yeah. So you can achieve anything if you are determined and consistent. Generally, to achieve something, you have to first take such thinking out of mind that you can't do it, change it to I can, and then start working toward achieving it. And it can be done by setting reasonable goals and then creating and following plans. It's SuccessFactors or any other SAP solution, you'll find learning journeys very useful, which provide details on the courses you have to take to develop your profile. I would highly recommend to be consultants to follow those paths.
Nice. Agreed. And as we talk about learning, the certification things always comes up. That how the SAP Global Certification is. Earlier, I know it was more costly, but now it's just the price is low, and the people are going more into certification. So, how do you think how important certification is? Yeah.
Yes, it's valued. However, one has to understand it's not the only criteria to get a job. Yeah, a certification can help a candidate in competing with others and also fulfilling some criteria of the organization. SuccessFactor implementation projects, in particular, require a consultant to meet certain training requirements before they could get system access. So if you are certified, for example, and a project does not have qualified resources, they may hire you, requiring you to transfer your existing certifications to them, so they could engage you on the project for solution delivery.
Yeah. So okay, I understood. So basically, you all have to share your knowledge, so that way you need a certification that at that point of it is required. Nice. Understood. Nice. So moving on to my next question, what do you think? Who should join this module, and what are the qualities you look for people who are joining this module, and what interests
Okay.
they should have?
It's not necessary to have a particular background to start learning as success factors.
Yeah.
However, if you have an understanding of general HR processes and practices, it will help you in understanding the value SAP solutions offer to businesses. You can decide to work as its consultant or administrator. As a consultant, you are required to work on projects to design and deliver solutions for SAP customers. And as an administrator, you have to provide day-to-day support to maintain in-scope solutions. Uh, Both roles require some additional skills beyond technical, such as customer facing, analytical, communication, presentation skills.
Yeah.
So it's not always about system problems, but also sometimes you have to help end users and other stakeholders with understanding how a particular application or feature works. So therefore, your other skills also are used on such roles.
Yeah, I agree. So everyone when it joins a module, it goes around how my career will go on and what's the career progression in it. So can you just talk about that as well?
Yeah, sure. So there are different career paths one can follow depending on his or her current situation. For instance, an end user can aim for technical support role first, to learn basic troubleshooting and handling some change requests, which may enable him or her with taking up a consulting role in a longer run. Someone who is already working on a solution consulting role may grow as project manager or practice lead to handle solution deliveries with a team of consultants. In terms of employment, each experience is unique. So if you work for SAP Labs, for example, it's different experience than working for Big Four.
Yeah.
Similarly, working on long-term projects give one different exposure than what one can learn on small but many projects. On the other side, you can also work for SAP customers as their technical support at their SAP centers of excellence roles. Yeah. So instead of focusing on specific companies, it would be better to avail any opportunity one can get to gain experience, because each assignment teaches something new. Take the best out of your current role and continue learning. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, nice. So you have been working like for a long time as a consultant, and then in 2019 you switched to the trainer path. So what was it like to? What was the changes in yourself, and what would you advise to others who are trying to switch to the trainer path?
Though now I'm working as a full-time trainer, but it has much to do with my past experiences. Most of my employment was on large-scale and long-term projects, like 4 years plus. That was average time. And therefore, I worked on various roles, not on the consulting roles. So I enjoyed training the most for many reasons. One among them was to see its results, which were instant. When you start the training, you see the participants know nothing, and when you end, you see that they have learned a particular functionality. So it's something that motivates. So though, if you look at the role, it's different it revolves around clients' requirements, like as a full-time trainer. And then the clients are from different places. So I have to adjust my timings according to theirs due to time zone differences. So initially, it was challenging, but now I feel I have adjusted and I'm enjoying it. The other thing which I have to do is to manage my schedule as I'm running between one to other assignment. So one training is over and next is starting. So I just finished yesterday and starting next on Monday. That's a 2 weeks long assignment. Then after that will be a gap of few days and then starting again. So it's always like that. So sometimes it's this different subject altogether.
Yeah.
So switching between many is an interesting experience. So anyone who is interested in adopting training as a career, I would recommend him or her to try it first. And you can start with delivering few private sessions before moving to corporate training. The career has its own set of challenges and rewards too, of course. The fun part is you get to know many people, new people, and get a chance to interact with many as you grow in this career.
Agree. So, many of the companies have in-house session and, they just do training by themselves. So what are the suggestions you would do to trainers that what should they do and how they should plan their training session?
Yeah. So in-house training sessions are usually, but not necessarily, focused on role-based content.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's good to have learning need analysis first, which will give them an understanding of what is required, and then develop your training content accordingly.
Okay.
So it will help you with meeting expectations when you have to deliver the training.
So the next thing would be we talk about progression always, and when we talk about fresher to start learning, it's easy. We can just put on our learning journeys, look from start to end. But for people who are already working and they want to get better in their role or switch their roles, what should be their path of learning? Where should they come up for learning and stuff?
Okay. Each of the modules have learning journeys. If you follow those, you can develop required skills easily. That's understood. Okay. Generally, they start with overview courses as we look at those learning journeys, and then they have advanced training too. They are well structured if you look at their structure of the learning journeys. So if you want to build a solid profile, you have to follow those learning journeys, regardless of you are fresher or experienced person. So for those who are interested in growing as solution architects or project managers, for example, they could also look at third-party trainings such as TOGAF or PMP, which are in addition to SAP and SuccessFactors trainings. They're very good additions, and some of the audience may already have taken these and tell the value of such qualifications. So it's good to have combination of both SAP and non-SAP.
Okay, that's very nice. That's very nice explanation. That was like, what I was expecting, and everyone keeps looking at how we can do if we are already in the career and we want to progress, because they just got stuck at some position that, okay, I don't know what to do and how to do. So that's a really great answer. So the other thing is about the freshers. Now, whenever someone starts, the ultimate goal is, okay, when can I start working in a real-time project? After what much time, providing with learning SAP SuccessFactor, a person can be enrolled to a project? What are your views on that?
Okay, so if you look at the courses, SAP courses, SuccessFactors in particular, so each course is structured in learning units
Yeah.
and have lessons as well as exercises.
Yeah.
Okay. A typical SF course is 10 to 15 days long. However, for a working professional, it's often difficult to spend 8 hours a day for study or practice. So generally, it takes up to 3 months to cover one module training, even though they are 10 to 15 days long, but it takes up to 3 months to cover end to end. I've tried it actually. The last year, I added two modules on my existing profile, which were career development planning and mentoring, as well as succession management. If you look at my existing profile, it was Employee Central, PMGM, LMS, and a few others. But last year, I spent time on these two components, and both of them took 3 months, roughly. Yeah. So even though courses are structured 8 hours a day and roughly up to 15 days long, but if you really want to learn, and if you're working in particular, then you have to consider at least 3 months. At least 3 months, and more time you spend, the better you become.
Yeah, obviously, experience matters a lot in every field, I think.
Yeah.
So, supposingly you're a recruiter, what are the five, things you guess, like you assume that the person should know? What are the five topics the person must know?
Okay, so it will greatly depend on the role for which I have to hire if I'm a recruiter.
Yeah.
For instance, hiring a consultant for a project is different than hiring an administrator who have to support SuccessFactors. So I may ask the following questions, such as, if let's say if it's I asked already that who you are, like a consultant or an administrator. Okay. So I may ask, was your earlier experience at an end-to-end project or at a specific phase? Okay. So there are two possibilities: that someone joined a project at the start and then was engaged throughout the project, right? And there are some others who are required to join the project in some phase. Yeah. So that will be my first question. And based on the answer to that question, I will frame my next question. Okay. So, for instance, if a candidate has worked on a full life cycle project, end-to-end project, so I may ask him, okay, what approach did you follow to understand business requirements? Okay. So I have to assess that what is the understanding of that person is the genuine candidate. So generally, it is the approach is fit to standard when it comes to success factors, which means that you have demonstrated the system, what system is capable of, to find out if there are any gaps. So if that's what consultant has answered, I may further ask, which requirements did you plan to deliver first?
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be my third question. And anyone who has worked on such project would refer to the must requirements.
Yeah.
You know, there are multiple requirements, nice to have requirements also, but the must requirements have to be focused first. So if that's the answer, my next question would be, okay, what did you do after configuring end-to-end process? So the answer, obviously, anyone who has worked on any project will say testing.
Yeah.
After configuration. They tested the solution. So then I may pose another question related to testing. For example, I could ask them that, okay, how did you handle testing results? Yeah. So this way, these are 5 questions, but of course I can depending on what
it will just go on and go on depending on the answers you get. Yeah.
So what I say is that the interview is more about assessment, that if employer and employee are a good match to each other. So my preference would be to have a conversation-like interview, not an interrogation.
Yeah, I agree. That is the best way, I guess.
So that's why I'm not following any fixed sequence or asking predefined questions. I would rather prefer asking questions related to their past experiences, and in case if someone is fresher, so I will ask about trainings that they have got, and I will frame questions accordingly.
That's all from my end, and thanks a lot for enlightening me with this success factor. I hope everyone else will be interested in it, and everyone must enjoy it. And later on, if they come with a question, I'll just drop a link there, and they can just post the questions up, and we can have a follow-up session later whenever you are free after the trainings and stuff, and then we can just have a follow-up thing on this, and we can just once again, thanks a lot for being with us. This was just a wonderful session.
It was a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.